Alright, so pakilalang maikli. Mabilis lang, Sir Marla. Pagka gano'n na gano'n, i-ano agad. So, this is our mandate. We're a government agency. That's our office. No? We are run by, we were a government agency under the Office of the President. Secretary Nicolas is a cabinet rank secretary, is our boss. We are about 80 in our office. And we have many services and programs that you may not have heard of. Sir Mark, take it away. Oh, who do we service? These people. Do you know that there are about 10.5 million Filipinos abroad? Have you heard of that? Ay, grabe. Ang anak mo kayo, napakagaling na researcher. Hindi mo alam yan? Ay, sus Maria. 10.5 million. Mas marami ang permanent, and that's you. So there are more Filipinos who have left the country and have decided to be resident of the host countries, and eventually they became citizens of the host country who are already, who have changed their citizenship already. Wow, wow. You see? So this is your category. So there are more Filipinos, that's about 40% of the 10.5 million. And then we call the temporary migrants. These are the OFWs. Those who come here for a work permit and have not been granted with permanent residency. After the contract, after the contract would expire, they have to go back to the Philippines. And then recently, Iceland has been accommodating au pair. Have you heard of au pair? The cultural exchange participants. This is very temporary. So, balik sa Pilipinas. And then, irregular migrants. Narinig niyo na ba to? Of course not. They do not want to be heard. Unfortunately, these are our kababayans who've left the country with a legal status, but when they stay in the host country without the proper documentation, they become irregular or undocumented. No? Not because they wanted to be like that, but these are the people who have very strong passion also in trying to support the family back home. And they don't have the means to regularize their stay. Sir Mark? Okay, so it's increasing. You could see, from 2000 to 2012, hindi naman nababawasan. These are where the Filipinos are. The top destination, whether you talk about worker, you talk about the permanent, you talk about the regular migrants, they're found in the US. And then, some are found in Saudi Arabia. In Europe, we have UK and Italy as the major destination country. Ay, walang Iceland? Gusto niyo bang madagdagan dyan? Kung kailangan kayo, maraming kompetensya. Okay. So, but, no, it doesn't mean that you're not in the top 10. The Philippine government would not be concerned about your situation or condition overseas. That's why we're here. Regardless, that's why when they said that, oh, there are Filipinos in Iceland, we were shocked. Oh, really? I can give you 1,000. So it doesn't matter if it's 1,000, 110, or 5. Joke lang. Practically, of course, we have to visit Iceland. Okay, and these Filipinos are the ones sending remittances to their family. Now, when we speak of remittance, we don't speak about the money also, but we speak about the impact of remittance. It's your hard-earned money, it's your heart and soul that you send to the Philippines. Tama? Yes. I'll tell you one anecdote. Very, 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 very simple, but it clearly shows how Filipinos love their family. When I went to Japan to do the financial literacy training, I was talking to people who were devastated by the recent the earthquake and the tsunami. Yeah. So, and then I was doing the module, and then somebody approached me, and she was telling me that she need to cut her session with me. I go, why? Because she's in a hurry to send money to the Philippines through the Western Union. Sabi ko, where are you getting the money? So, the money, apparently, she just borrowed it from a friend. Why? Because the work is suspended, her house is totally a mess, devastated. And yet, there she is thinking about sending money to the Philippines. Sakit, no? It's really it's heartbreaking to see a Filipino in a distressful situation thinking about the family in the Philippines. Even she has no money at all left with her because of her situation. So it clearly shows that Filipinos are really into sending remittances. In fact, we rank third among 3 countries who has so much remittances. Ang number 1 is China, and then India, and then the Philippines. Oh, labanan mo naman yung kapiranggot lang population natin kumpara dun sa dalawa. No? So those are the top sending remittances. No? Now, policy. This is one work of CFO. Just so you know, there are laws in the Philippines for migrants. That was drafted in the past, and there are some changes already. And CFO had its share of implementing and formulating the law. Number 1, the anti-human trafficking law. That's part of CFO has a great contribution in the implementation of the law. The Overseas Voting Act recently, and now an ongoing amendment to the Anti-Mail Order Right Law, Solo Parents Act, etc., etc. So apart from doing frontline service, we also push for policies that would better the lives of Filipinos overseas. Yeah. Okay, now, this is a special project that we have. Ma'am Jen, can you distribute the yes, say yes or no? Okay. Remember, the Philippines has had a lot of typhoons and devastation, right? In over 34 years of CFO's existence, we have a program called Link for Philippine Development. In Tagalog, we say Linkapil, o Lingkod sa Kapwa Filipino. So, this is the heart of the CFO's program, wherein we receive donation from Filipinos overseas. Not for us, but for those Filipinos in a challenging situation or the less fortunate ones. Now, this is special because we don't get to receive the money from you. We facilitate how you will send money to those Filipinos in the less fortunate Filipinos. So, over the years of implementing the Link for Philippine Development Program, we have had 186.5 million worth of donation channeled just in 2013. Marami pa yan. Noong 2013 lang yan. Why? No, we realize that it has increased because of the several typhoons, earthquake, or a challenging situation where the Philippines was subjected to. Okay, there are 179,000 beneficiaries, and it has reached 41 provinces. So, CFO has thousands of Filipino associations in its database. And this association trusts CFO, no? Because we are very transparent in delivering reports, receipts, coordinations to those beneficiaries. In fact, most of the time we bring them door to door, diretso, at no cost to the donor. So that's one. And then 234.45 billion worth of donation by January to June 2014 alone, and it benefited 31 provinces and 200,000 plus beneficiaries. So I asked Ma'am Jen to distribute the paper because apart from that, there are things that you have to know about our programs and services, no? But I think it's very important that you get to know the right people. Like when we went to Norway, one Filipino association told us that they had a difficult time sending donation during the for the Typhoon Haiyan victims. Customs charge them, etc., etc. So we do liaison services. So it won't be very difficult for you if you really wanted to help even your hometown when you have the capacity to do that. Okay? We also did a lot of classrooms. There are 222 classrooms in 2013 alone. And we've been doing this for 3 decades already. 2 newly constructed classrooms and 21 classrooms repaired because of Typhoon Yolanda in January to June 2014. We also have medical missions. So I think you're doing that here. If you intend to do medical mission in the Philippines, you can also ask our help so we can help you implement it in the Philippines. Permit, requirements, areas checking, lahat. We can do that for you. So, 17 medical missions assistance from January to June 2014. Okay? Yes, thank you. Next. We also do Feeding programs. 4 feeding programs as of Jan to June 2014, 7 feeding programs in 2013. Ate, pasuyo nga po. Si Sir Mark ay natin. Now, CFO believes that it's very important to teach to teach people, no, or assist people in trying to recover from their bad situation. So instead of giving them just ration for food and other needs nila, we also offer livelihood assistance. The money doesn't come from CFO. It came from people like you. They may be rich, they might not be so rich, but it definitely would reach the people who are in need. So the livelihood program. And then recently, you might want to check this. You have internet at home, di ba? So it's a balikbayan.gov.ph. So it's a one-stop portal wherein it is run by the CFO in coordination with the different government agencies. For example, you want to know about SSS, NSO, Pag-ibig, etc. It's all in the portal. Or you want to know, there are several ways wherein this one can be very helpful to you. You wanted to invest. It can lead you to different areas in the Philippines, regions in the Philippines, that can give you an idea on how to work on your investment, or where is the best investment, or what product should you invest the best. Okay? Volunteer. If you want to volunteer, where are the different initiatives that call for volunteers? It's there also. Donation, government online services, and interactive maps. So you would know which area needs the classrooms the most, which area needs medical mission, etc. So it's online, so you might want to check it when you go home later. So that's Balikbayan program run by CFO in coordination with different government agencies. Okay. Now let's go to the frontline service of the CFO. Now, we will not be able to come up with law or policies for you if we don't have the data. So the CFOs, one of the mandate of the CFO is to conduct several seminars for Filipinos leaving the country. Not a worker category, but immigrant status. Who are these people? These are the Filipinos who are married or has a fiancé or partner, the foreign national. So the spouses, partner, fiancé is a foreign national. We deal with them. Who else? Number 2, the youth migrants. Those who are being petitioned by their families overseas. Alam niyo ba, we have about 30% of the Filipinos overseas belongs to the youth sector. So, di ba sabi ni Rizal? Ano sabi niya? The youth is the hope of the nation. Tama ba yun? So, if that is the case, there are so many youth migrants. No, this youth can be doing so well for their motherland eventually, if you will be able to guide them when. Start with the financial literacy program. Okay, so one other thing. We also register or deal with those descendants of Filipinos overseas. So we have the Nikkei Jinkai, Shin Nikkei Jin. These are the Filipinos who are descendants of Japanese Filipino marriages, etc. Who else? The exchange visitor program participants, those who are granted with immigrant status. So we conduct several frontline services for them, including different seminars. So we've registered this much. So ibig sabihin, every year there are 80,000 of Filipinos leaving the country. So we have PITOS, pre-departure orientation seminar. So if you have a family member that you are sponsoring to come to Iceland because of family reunification or family ties, you better advise them to look for Sir Mar, Jen, or me. So they can attend the program, register, and there would be no problem at the immigration because it's mandatory. It's a requirement. That's one of the reasons why we're here also, to let you know about the program and for us to enhance the program. So thanks to you, we learned so much today, and we will incorporate it in the pre-departure orientation seminar. Okay? We also have youth counseling. No? Yan, peer counseling. If you have youth 13 to 19 years old, that you are going to sponsor to Iceland, not as a tourist, but as a resident, they have to attend counseling program also. Why? The issues of the youth is different from the issues of the adult. So we teach them about discrimination, we teach them about getting settled in their school, we teach them about the value of understanding the lifestyle of the parents, etc., etc. Okay? And then another distinct program of the CFO is the guidance and counseling program for Filipino, fiancé, spouse, partner of foreign national or former Filipinos. No? Bakit? Bakit ka magka-counseling? It's very important kasi it's the prevention and protection. The Philippine government sees marriage migration as very special since it's very difficult to maintain a relationship to somebody from different culture. Would you agree? Oh, tama ba? Okay, tell you one example. Example tayo. Okay. Pagka palitan natin, sabihin nyo, if you want to say yes, you do it like this. I'll ask a question, and when your answer is yes, ganun ang gawin nyo. Let's try it again. Gabi ba ngayon? Yan. Ulit. Come on, let's do it. Okay. So instead of nodding for the yes, you say, like this. Gabi ba ngayon? Jesus.
Reverse na.
Okay. For no, you say like this. You do like this. Okay. Ulit. Guwapo't magaganda ba kayo? Again, to say yes, what do you do? To say yes, baliktad. Yes. No. No. Alright. Okay, now the question, first question. Do we have males in the room? Yes. How you doing? Do we have females in the room? Okay. Are you hungry? We have Indians here. We don't have Indians here. I have an Indian friend. It's just so happened that when they say yes, they do it like this. Yeah. When they say they have to say no, they do that. Oh. You see, it's just the same thing with getting married or being, or you're into a relationship from somebody who was raised from a different culture. You need time to get adjusted. You need guidance. That's why we do guidance and counseling program for the marriage migrant. And one more thing, there are so many irregularities in migration these days that marriage migrant is being used as a route to traffic Filipinos. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
Kunwari, they will be marrying you. Fraud marriage, they call it in Japan. So they would be marrying you, and then when you go there, instead of being a wife, you do work. And then you get to be violated. That's why we have to do counseling program. Okay, Mark? Now, we have new projects that we're developing, no? And we cannot just stay in a budget that is given to us with the Congress. Because every year we have to defend our budget, Congress, Senate. But Secretary Nicolas seems to be very opportunista and innovative yan. That's a very good, those are very good traits of a leader. So what she does is she partners with private institutions so she can come up with new, bigger projects to support, of course, the mission and vision of the Commission or the CFO. So, Mark? What Jen is about to do is what we call kapit ka. Can you say it again?
Kapit ka.
Ay, Diyos ko, gutom ka na. Nakaswerte, 1, 2, 3.
Kapit ka!
Asa. Talamang pinansyal tungo sa kaunlaran. So the CFO developed its own financial literacy module and core trainers for financial literacy. And Jen is a part of the trainers. Ay, hindi ako pwede dyan. Alam nila yun. Okay? So, kapit ka. Can you please? We've conducted financial literacy training locally and international in financial literacy. So when you use this module, this is very easy. We will supply you with materials. Mamaya, Ma'am Jen is going to show you. In coordination recently with Western Union, isang bagsak kay Kuya Albert, 1, 2, 3! Ayan. And Western Union Foundation and UNDP, we've developed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 profile video module to encourage this profile to save and manage their resources well. Di ba kanina we played one? Mamaya, papakita namin sa inyo yan. So, Peso Sense was launched in 18 October 2013 and it aims at improving financial literacy promotion. It will promote productive expenditure, greater saving, entrepreneurship among Filipino beneficiaries of international domestic remittances. So we have to target two categories, the Filipino migrants and the families left behind. It's very impossible to teach only you how to save up. The family left behind has to be taught about the importance of supporting your direction also. Diba? Otherwise, you would be hearing them, damot naman ito. 14 years ka lang sa Iceland, ang yabang mo na. Ang hirap kasi English nung kayo mag-explain kay Dr. Ono. Okay? So, moving on. Okay. It's as mentioned earlier. Okay. And then another project the CFO has is teaching the local government, many local governments. You see, you cannot create a great impact or a great change to finances if it will not be supported by the family, the community, and even the local government. So one has to realize the importance of the right channeling of remittance. The objective is to improve the remittance environment and to encourage continued remittance flow. Of course, when you speak of remittance, it doesn't go directly to the government or to the country. It goes straight to your family. Diba? The impact. But if your family kasi gets better, the economy gets better also. May chain reaction siya. To promote financial education among migrants, multi-sectoral approach to return and reintegration for overseas Filipinos, etc. Now, a Remittance Development Council was launched, was formulated, and the intention or objective is to come up with policies that will recommend better environment for remittances and remittances to be used for development, not only of an individual, for the family, but for the society also. Kasi when you speak of remittance, everyone, when you send money to the Philippines, it's either they mismanage it, they buy gadgets. Some of them, you send them to school, but after 4 years of sending them support, when you come home to visit them, you wouldn't even see any diploma. No? Instead, they would like to shift courses. Multi-stakeholder council, central bank, Philippine banks, non-bank, migration-related agencies. The Remittance Development Council is made up of those multi-sectoral or multi-stakeholder. Now, the purpose is to recommend policies as mentioned, advocate further reduce remittance fees, and collaborate for conduct of financial education and literacy. That's why we're here. Sir Mark. Okay. So, this is another initiative of the CFO. It does not have any, it's not included in the budget of the CFO, but in our coordination with the Department of Justice, the Interagency Council Against Human Trafficking, CFO was made to oversee the implementation of the 1343 action line. It is the first 24/7 hotline or action line in the Philippine government used to combat human trafficking. So it was launched in 2011. So if you're in the Philippines, you can dial 1343 action line and we will respond to you 24/7. Or you can email us, it has a website. It can also be accessed through Google application. No? We've had a lot of cases with us. By the way, Sir Mar is a case officer, so he has saved a lot of lives by responding to 1343 action line cases. Okay, so that's the logo. Later on, we will be distributing some materials that will remind you of our programs and services. Moving on, Sir Mar. Okay. Now this is another a new initiative of the CFO. We call it the Joint Migration and Development Initiative Phase 2. But please be clarified that this is not CFO's work. No? Ang CFO serves as the official national government partner for this particular project. It's funded by those logos. European Commission, Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. It is implemented by the UNDP, IOM, ILO, UNCHR, etc. And the project will run from 2013 to 2015. What is that about? Now, Filipino diaspora, you, is a very powerful partner for development. Do you believe that? Yeah. If you pool your resources, it doesn't have to be money. Your expertise, that's resources in terms of money. And you've decided to help one local or area in the Philippines. You will be major movers of change. So this is an experiment. It's phase 2 already, meaning in the past there's already something like this. But it's a matter of gathering the different initiatives that promotes migration and development. Ano ibig sabihin ng migration and development? Migration as a phenomenon, and you're going to use it, finding the nexus, the connection to the development. For example, we have 3 projects now in Bicol area or Bicol region. So we are trying to capacitate the local government. Sino itong mga to? Your mayor, the governors, no? The local government unit. On what way? They were training them to make the area be friendly to migrants like you. In what way? One day when you come home, there should be a one-stop shop center to process all your papers. And there should be an online service for you. That's one. Number 2, there should be a local law that will help you out. What is that? A council that will push for changes or for improvement of your lives overseas and of your family, of the families you left behind. An ordinance or a local government policy that will support creation of enterprise, small scale or medium na enterprise for migrants and their families. Pangit ba yun? Maganda. Today, there are initiatives like that. But the objective is to get the impact and replicate it to other locals also. Today, at this point, we have 3. The Bicol region and the devastated area in Visayas. So we're teaching everyone to use migration, the opportunity of your remittance, your assistance, their families overseas to better their own lives. But we're telling them it's the obligation of the local government to make sure that the migrants will be well taken care of and their families in their respective hometown. Isn't that great? You will not be able to realize that. But the end product of that is one day, for example, Tita Evelyn. Tita Evelyn is very, very helpful. She's very generous with her blessing. One day she comes home to Lake Ma'am, o sa Ormo. No? And then, if Tita Evelyn would see that the local government will be very helpful and receptive of her and of Filipinos like her, it would be very easy for her to set up businesses. Pero pag ang local government doesn't support your goals in life and nothing is offered in the local government, would you want to open anything in your own hometown? Of course not. Diba? So that's the main objective of the Joint Migration Development Initiative Phase 2. By the way, since I mentioned Tita Evelyn, Tita, tayo ka naman. Kanina hinahanap namin yung maganda eh. Now we're enjoying her apartment. Salamat po. Enjoying her food. No? enjoying, kaya lang we didn't get to enjoy this, seeing her daughter, no, who looks like me. Okay, next. Moving on, Mark. Thank you po, Tita. Now, this is a project where I work with TABDIN. That's Migrants in Countries in Crisis. Simple lang yan. But the instruction came from UN General Secretary Ban Ki-moon. Hindi ko kaya yan. Si David yan. Support lang ako. So, we need to come up with complete data on migration profiles, crisis preparedness. We need to equip the sending and the host country, the transit country. So, nauuso kasi these days that there are calamities, natural and unnatural, non-man-made disasters, and the migrants are the ones who are affected. So, the objective of this is to capacitate the host, the sending, and the transit country to make sure that the protection of the migrants when the country is in a crisis situation would prevail or would be implemented. Okay, so it talks about post-return and reintegration plans also, and the migrants should be taught of what they should do. Kunwari, may babagsak na bomba, what should they do? No? They are trapped in a countries in crisis. What should they do? How should be helped? So it's not yet in the implementation program, but level. But we're on the process of conceptualizing it, gathering people to understand the concept, and it's not only with CFO, but with the Philippine government. It is a government to government. We work with the U.S. government. We also work with Australian government, and so much more. Okay. Now. Unfortunately, CFO receives some bad news also from some of our clients. So, through the referral of the embassy or the general public, through the hotline, sometimes we get to hear about bad news. But there's a program called Assistance to National Program done by the Department of Foreign Affairs and also of the CFO. So we are required, of course, to attend and respond to this kind of cases. Now, this is another reason why we're here. We would like to, as much as possible, to connect with the Filipino communities, especially the leaders like Tita Nora. So in cases that we get to hear someone in the distressful situation, yung binanggit na yan, and if he or she is in the area, it's very easy for us to work together. Lalo pa that we saw how close the honorary consul is to the community. So it's encouraging you to be vigilant about protecting the other migrants in your area. So hindi lang dito yan. We also do that in every country that we would visit. So tonight, I want you to think about possible areas of the cooperation between the CFO. No? Ask yourselves, number one, ano ba yung category? What category, I think, of migrants need more help from me? Is it the au pair? Is it the immigrant, the work permit holder, or the irregular migrants? And then ask yourself, anong kulang? No, what should be done more for them? And then third, what are the available services na hindi nila alam that can be extended to them? And then lastly, what do I want from CFO? The CFO should do this, the CFO must do this, etc. So, what do you want us to do for you? Now, I would not want you to answer everything, but I want you to think about this, and then when we have time, or if you want to email me, or you want to approach me as while we're still here, let's talk about it. Okay? So, do you understand what CFO is now? Hindi kami UFO, ha? Kami ay Commission on Filipinos Overseas. Pakiulit nga!
Commission on Filipinos Overseas.
Parang ang lungkot nyo eh, no? Commission on Filipinos Overseas. Opo. Okay, so do you have any question, violent reaction, etc., etc.? Wala naman. Okay. Sige, tayo lahat. Napakahaba kasi ng discussion na ito eh. Tayo. Yeah. Shake your hand. Shake. Sige, shake. Yes, yes. Shake, 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 shake. Yan, yan. Taas kamay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sige, lahat. Ate, yung baby mo, ihagis mo. Kasama ka. Shake, shake, shake. Okay. No. Shake, taas. 1, 2, 3. Heavy. Heavy. Yan. Okay, now put your 2 hands dun sa ibabaw ng shoulder ng kaharap mo. Okay. Dr. Noor, you're 2. Yan. Alright. Now massage each other. Massage. Heavy. Oh, hard. The floor. Hard. Sige, hard si Mami. Hard si Kuya Bong. Hard, Louie. Yan. Sige, hard. Soft. Bewang. Baba sa bewang. Mga malisyoso kayo. Baba sa binte. Ay, sus, malisyoso. Akala ko pa naman. Okay, now, I think, are you ready for another discussion or you want...